Today on 3D Outdoors, we're going to be talking about the mud mixer. We're going to talk about some of the pros and the cons, and we're going to show it to you in operation right after this. All right, let's get the cons out of the way right away. One, you're not going to do a huge floor like the floor here in the HQ with a unit like this. You can only do so many bags at a time. Let's face it, it just wouldn't make sense to do something that huge with a unit like this. The other con is the cost. This is several $1,000s. So if you're going to just pour your mailbox hole or a small project one time and be done, this is probably not the unit for you. But let's go into the pros. The pros are, if you are someone like me that has several projects waiting to be done like we have out here at the HQ, today we're going to be using it to work on reinforcing some posts in an older shed. We have a project we're looking at doing in a grain bin, kind of a sidewalk leading down to that, probably a fire pit area. We're going to be doing a bunch of projects out here at the HQ. This makes economic sense at the end of the day, even with the several $1,000s, just because of some of the other pros we're going to go into here. The other pros are you can work at your own pace. You can run this for a while, and we'll show you here in a minute here, you clean it up really easy, put it away. It's easy to move around, that's another pro. But you can do those small projects at your own pace. That's a huge benefit in my book when you have this many projects to do. If you're a small contractor and you wanted to do reinforcements like that, sidewalk pieces, curbing, small projects at houses and whatnot, another huge pro, 1 or 2 people. Anthony will be out here in a little bit. We're going to be working on a post hole in that older building, doing some reinforcement to it by pouring 1/3 of a pallet of concrete in there. Dale was out here the other day. Like I said, you can do it at your own pace. Dale was out here. We did 2 other post holes in there. We put 1/3 of a pallet in each one of those and let it set, and they've solidified now, reinforced, very strong. When we got done, we just cleaned this up and put it away and waited till today till Anthony could help me to do the other pole. It's great. We're going to do the probably grain bin project out here and put a floor in it, open it up and everything, and make it a seating area. Well, we can do a portion of that floor at a time, and instead of having to bring in a concrete cutter to cut it, we'll just pour part of it, we'll stop, clean up, come back a few days later, pour another chunk of it, and then you'll have your seams right in there. You don't even got to worry about having a cutter. So there's the pros are doing things at your own pace, having 1 or 2 people work on it at a time. You don't need a whole crew. You don't have to buy a whole truckload of concrete at a time. I mean, what are you going to do with it if you have small projects, obviously? It's way easier to use than one of them tub things that turn around up in the air. You got to throw like 2 bags in. You're limited with how much you can use. And then you got to pour it out and start over again, get the right consistency. Now, obviously, one of those is way cheaper, several $100s versus several $1,000s. But with this, you can just put the concrete in it and keep running. And let's get the GoPro going here so that we can show you how that works. So if you look at it, it has a hopper here. You can get an extension for it, which I don't have yet. But you drop your bag in, splits the bag open. There's a auger down there that augers it over into a water jet system. You hook up a hose on the side there and put water to it. And you hook up power to the cord there. Turns that auger on with the motor that's over here on the end. And then there's water jets in there that spray water into it, mixing the concrete to the consistency you want as you adjust it here. So you can just do it at your own pace. When you get done, take the included hose, spray it off clean, and put it away. And then you can start again, like I said, and work on the project again in a little while. So there you go. There's a brief overview, pros and cons to the mud mixer. Oh, yeah, and you can also spin it around here and angle your dispersal on the concrete also. So that's a plus as well, and ease of movement. Let's talk about that. You can see I can move that with one hand. That is really easy to move around. So just a great unit. Anthony and I are going to get over into the shed over there and work on that pole. and we'll run a little GoPro footage over there and show you how it's running. But just a great unit if that fits what you need to fill. Again, it's not for small projects, not for huge projects, but if you're willing to put a few $1,000s into an investment, you can do a lot of different projects and do them at your own pace. All right, getting the hole filled up there. A little tip for you, we talked about those plastic bags earlier, how that doesn't split it. I don't think you want to sharpen that any so that you might hurt yourself. What you can do is take a knife. I'm using my Leatherman right now. You probably want to use just like a razor blade knife or something, and just pre-cut the bag and then drop it in there, and it'll do the same thing as if it was breaking on that. And you lift it up, as you can see, and the concrete comes right out. So that would be my tip to conquer those plastic bags that are giving you issues as it goes in there. You see we're getting our hole filled up there. A few more bags to go, and then we'll have her to where we want her. All right, just a couple of things we're going to add in here. A few safety tips. I'm going to cut this in so you'll see this is kind of chopped in the middle of the video. But you'll notice that we're wearing masks while we're doing this. There's a lot of dust. That is a mixture of who knows what to make concrete, and so that it hardens. You can see our project's done over there right now. That'll harden up, but wear a mask. Don't breathe that stuff into your lungs. So Anthony and I were both wearing masks. The next thing is, when you wash it, don't get water on the motor. That will trip out. There's actually a breaker on here. It'll trip that breaker out, and then you'll wonder what's going on. And clean off what you can by hand, just dry. The other thing is, don't get your hand down in there. You can see there's a guard there. We knocked it out of place once and had to put it back into place. That's there for a purpose. There's an auger down there. You stick your fingers in there, you're going to lose your fingers. So do not get your hands down below that protective area there. So just a few tips on there. So let's get this washed up so we can put it away so it'll be all ready for next year when we do these other projects. Let's do that right now. As you can see right here, it comes with its own nifty little hose. And you take and turn the water on. See, it has water right there. And you take and wash this right down. We're gonna wipe off what we got here. Probably want to set it in the other direction so it runs out. All right, and you want to make sure you clean this right away after you get done. Obviously this is concrete, it's going to set up on you. You take the little spout off right over here in the end. That'll come right off. You can wash that off. There's a pin right here. You can pull, and this slider comes right off as well. So you can wash that separately. And you can see right there is your auger. You know, the light's not the greatest here, but you can see there's an auger right down in there. You want all that cleaned out. You don't want any concrete left in there. Otherwise, it's not going to move, because it's going to set up just like if you did in a driveway. Another quick tip, make sure you wear clothes you're not worried about changing out of. You're going to have to wash these right away. They're going to be covered with concrete dust. This is Dan with 3D Outdoors, reminding you to get into the outdoors and enjoy everything it has to offer. If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and you can always follow us over at 3d-outdoors.com, which is our website where we put everything together. See you next time.